Hello, this is Kevin Sullivan from SDM Software. I wanted to provide a real quick overview, hopefully quick overview, of one of the issues with group policy that SDM has provided a free tool to help you out with. If you're not familiar with group policy preferences, I'm going to give you a little overview of some of the things going on in there, but the limitation or the issue that we want to talk about today, Darren Morelia, the founder of SDM Software, blogged about just a little bit ago. If you go to sdmsoftware.com, you can click on our blog and you'll be able to see his post, Remediating Group Policy Preference Passwords. Now, his blog post is very comprehensive. It goes through not only Microsoft recommendations and different options that you have to remediate this situation with Microsoft's tools or knowledge, but it also goes into the details of why this issue exists or what the issue actually is. It got some attention recently because US CERT, a government organization, issued an announcement essentially saying, hey, this is still a problem. Microsoft has been telling us about this for a while now, and people haven't fixed it. Go get this done. So that's where we decided we were going to provide something to help. I want to show you what that is. But anyway, there's a lot of good information here. Go to sdmsoftware.com, check out Darren's blog post, look at the security bulletin information that's linked in there for this specific issue, and look at the different tools and different knowledge that they provide. Okay, so that's really why we're here. Group policy preferences, a very important and powerful component of GP, has a capability for you to add password information into certain configurations. So let me show you what this looks like. Sort of interesting here. So here's group policy preferences under the computer configuration. You'll notice that there are preferences under both computer configuration and user configuration. This GPO, GPpref password 1, only has certain configurations that have been created under the computer config. And if I click through here, I'm not going to see anything. If you're looking at the right-hand side, you'll notice there's not much in there. But when I get to data sources, there we are, right? So there's a GP preference. Now I can open this up and I can see that there's a password in here. The fact that I can add a password on this machine or in this configuration tells me right away that my computer is not patched. I'm running this from an admin console that does not have the appropriate update. So that's really important, is to update your admin console so you can't make this mistake. That does not fix the issue, but it's an important step. But this is an unpatched machine because I wanted to be able to demonstrate the issue. So there's the password. Doesn't seem to be of issue, right? It's very Windowsy. I can look down other extensions, devices, scheduled tasks, network options, local users, and groups. And many of these, not all of them, but many of them do provide you the ability to put passwords into the configuration. I can see services. I can put passwords on the logon info for the service. Now, something that you may not be aware of, the GP preferences configuration is simply an XML file. And that XML file is stored up in Sysvol. It's communicated down to the client machine during group policy processing, and then it's processed. I want to look at that XML. It's a couple really cool artifacts here. I can drag this right out to the desktop. So there's my config. There's my bits config. If I double click on that, I can see the XML in its raw form. You see this bit here? C password with a bunch of gook. That's the issue that we're concerned with. And the reason it's a problem is because the key that's used to encrypt that password is publicly available. Microsoft had to publish all of their essentially wire protocol, all of the communication that goes across the wire. They had to publish all of that. And in that publishing, they had to publish the key because the key is communicated. So since the key is now readily available to the world, this is insecure. It's not difficult for someone to grab that key, grab this data, and unlock it. Another way that you can get to the XML data, just for curiosity's sake, is there's a button up here in the toolbar to display the XML. So if I look at my data sources and click on tests and hit that button, there's my XML. And again, there's that nasty C password thing. Okay, so that's what we want to get rid of. We also don't want to create a situation where in order to find this stuff, you have to, look through the settings reports. This is great. I love these settings reports. But when I go in and I dig deep, I might find certain information, but I'm not going to see all of the info that I need in here. And I don't want to have to click through and read through a lot of different settings reports to find it. I want to say, go find me all this stuff. One of our realities that we deal with is we haven't been doing GP forever. Maybe someone was doing it before us. Maybe they added configuration that I'm unaware of. You need to find it. Or maybe your peers are doing some config and they're not aware of the vulnerability and they make some changes that might be that might put you at risk. I need to find it. Let's make it easy. All right, so that's what we did. That's what SDM software did. There's a little tool called the Group Policy Preference Password Remediation Tool 1.0. I like Darren's comment in the blog post. He says, a long name to match its power. Because really, I run the tool, I search my entire domain, it's going to find me all the group policy objects with all of the configuration items that have password or cPassword information in them. And all of that are things that I need to remediate. So I can see very quickly here, I have one config in GP Pref Password 2. Under the user side, there's a drive mapping. Boom. I have 3 on this other group policy object, GP Pref Password 1, users and groups, data sources, services. I need to fix those. The easiest way to manage that, or the easiest way to deal with that, is I can right-click and say remediate. Let me show you what that looks like. So I'm going to go over to GP Password 2. I'm going to open up that editor again. I'm going to find this setting that the report showed me about, user drive mapping. So under user config, I want to find my drive mapping settings, There's my L drive. I open it up and I see Kevin's the username and there's a password in there. So for the sake of being able to recreate this, I'm just going to copy that out. All right, so I'm going to go into that one setting and just say remediate. One of the cool things that's going to happen is the tool itself is going to go ahead and back up that GPO so that you have a historical reference of it, and then it's going to go in and do the edit. User config, Windows settings, drive mappings. There's my L drive, and you see the password is gone. If I go back into that XML, I'll see that there's no cPassword data anywhere in this file. Okay? Now it's remediated, it's mitigated. The issue is now resolved for all intents and purposes. If I search again, I'll see that that is no longer there. So you're going to be able to run this. You're going to be able to select many configs at a time, maybe all of the configs from one GPO, right-click, remediate. It'll do a backup and go and wipe out that data. It's brilliant. So don't leave your environment at risk. Make sure you patch your admin consoles, read the blog post on sdmsoftware.com, download the free tool, no strings attached. If you want to give us an email address, great, but we don't require it. Download it, run it, see where you're vulnerable, and fix it. Anyway, I hope this was helpful. Take care.